Hello and welcome back. So today we'll be making follow me eyes for our dolls. I will be using two different methods to actually draw out the eyes and another way to digitize them. And to set them, I also have another two different methods. Now you could use whatever method to make the eye and whatever method to set them. They're interchangeable. So a few of the items that are missing from here are a laminator, resin, and a UV lamp. Everything will be in the description, so don't worry, I have you guys covered. But besides that, let's jump right in. So to get started, I went ahead and made a little pattern using the cabochon. I traced it since I didn't want to be tracing around the cabochon in the future, since it's very easy to move it around, and it's, I just want like a pattern that I could always use and go back to, and yada yada yada. But besides that, I went ahead and used a piece of paper, printer paper, and traced two eyes on there. I'm actually doing Sakura Kinamoto's eyes for another cosplay video that will be out soon, but I went ahead and traced one eye that looks just like hers that I was happy with, and once I did that, I went ahead and traced two more on a separate piece of paper, and these next two will look a lot more cleaner. They'll be more polished since the first one's more like a sketch. If you don't have a light box, you can use like an iPad or something, or a phone, and just bring up your brightness and that'll work great. Once it's all colored in and inked in, go ahead and take a picture with whatever device you have. Make sure it's a very even picture, it's not lopsided or anything. And you're gonna basically do what I did and fix the page onto a project that has the same presets as a printer page, and that way when you fix it onto that project, the scale will match the same scale as you're drawing in the actual paper that you have, and the digital will be the same. So it's really cool. I thought about this a while back and I wasn't sure if it would work, and I'm glad to confirm that it does. So at this point, I'm drawing Sakura Kinamoto's eye digitally as well to see how it looks, to see the difference and test everything out. But when I finish it and go to print it out, I realized that I don't have any ink, which also led to another discovery, me using the blanked out eye as like a color in eye. So like you could also do that, where you draw out these black and white eyes. If you don't have any colored ink, you print them out as like templates, and then you just color them in with nicer colors. Obviously colored pencils, pastels, and all of that will be way more vibrant than color ink, especially if you don't have like a better quality printer like I do. I mean, I don't have a higher quality printer, like I have a really bad printer, so doing that would be really good for the eyes and making them shine a little more, since the pigmented color pencils and paints and all of that are way more saturated and they look a lot more better, especially if they would be behind the glass. So I do recommend that, and here I am coloring in some eyes just to test it out. So once you color them in, all you have to do is set them with some modgepodge. I use the shiny version, and I recommend you actually put the modgepodge onto the cabochon and then put the cabochon onto the eye that's still on the paper. Don't cut them out like I did right here. It was kind of a headache and it was a lot messier since I had to use my hands and I got modgepodge everywhere on my hands. And yeah, I don't recommend that. So just leave them in the paper, put some modgepodge onto the cabochon. Don't put it directly onto the eye, since especially if you colored it yourself, you may smear it. If it's directly on the cabochon, you just put it directly on the eye. It'll spread on its own as you press down and you're all set. It's perfect. Let it rest for a day. After a day, cut them out and then do another top layer on the back of the eye on the paper to seal it away with modgepodge, and you're all set. And 24 hours later, they'll look something like this and they'll be ready to use. They honestly look a lot better in camera than they do in person, so I'm just letting you guys know, okay? So don't come for me. So for the second method to set the eyes, I went ahead and laminated the paper that I printed on, and I just put a little drop of UV resin on there, and then I just put the cabochon directly on there. I don't put too much because you don't want it to go around. It'll make it harder to cut out the eyes. So you just put the UV light, it sets right away. It's in an instant. It's so fast. It sets, you take it off, and they're on there. They're like stuck on there. And another good thing is you could actually remove it. They won't stick on there forever. Like if I would have used regular paper, I'm pretty sure it would have been harder to remove, but since it's laminated, it comes off, and I could reuse the cabochons and they don't go to waste. So I love that about this method. So once I finished setting all the eyes, I went ahead and tried out the entire batch and realized that the pupils were a little too big for my liking. Yeah, they look kind of cute on video, but in person there's zero white showing and it looks a little creepy. The entire eye hole is taken up by the pupil, and I kind of just want some of the white to show. So I ended up taking most of them off. I didn't like how they look, except for the Renegon. The Renegon really shows up well with the cabochons, and they really display the follow me aspect. I don't know if it's the circles or what it is, but it looks so good. And since the Renegon is normally supposed to take up the entire eye hole, I liked how the scale looks, so I kept these. So look at them, super cool. Since all of the eyes ended up being a little bigger than what I hoped for, I did have to go back to Procreate and resize all of the eyes and fix them up to look nice again, and then reprint. So while laminating the paper once again, the second sheet, the revised one, I was actually removing the other eyes from the gachapons. If it's resin, there will be some residue left over. It's like a little layer. You just use an X-Acto knife or your own nails themselves to kind of just peel it off. Super simple, won't take too long. And for the Mod Podge, it's very easy to remove it. It won't fight too much and it won't even tear. So I do recommend that as well if you end up reusing your gachapons. That way you don't throw them out. And once everything's laminated, the same process goes on again with a little drop of resin. The gachapon goes on top and we cure it right away. So for the final batch, I ended up only adding resin and setting about 2 pairs of eyes. I learned my lesson. I did not want to do the entire sheet all over again and then have to remove it or have like a whole bunch of eyes just sitting there. I'll make them when I need them. So the eyes ended up fitting great. The whites are showing. They look amazing. And the follow me aspect is great as well. So everything ended up working for this final, revision of the eyes, and we're all set, we're all done, and let me show you how they look on the close-up. And here we have them. So these are most of the sets of eyes that I ended up finishing and keeping. So here we have the first set of eyes that we actually drew by hand and traced and everything, set with Mod Podge in the back. They look amazing. They look better on camera. I will let you guys know ahead of time once again. So this second pair was printed and colored in by myself. These were printed when I didn't have any colored ink, but they look just as amazing. They were also set with Mod Podge. Now the third set and the Renegons up top were all laminated, printed with color, a printer, and they were set with resin as well. So these are the rest of the eyes that I had left from that last final revised sheet of eyes. They look amazing. I will be using them as I need them, like I said before. And here we have the close-up of the Sakura Kinomoto eyes. I ended up liking and sticking with. They look amazing. And yeah, that's about it for this video, guys. Sakura Kinomoto cosplay video coming very soon. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed, and if you have any tips or want to talk about anything you enjoyed, please let us know below in the comments, and don't forget to leave a like. See you guys next time.